It's all right. It was windows.
Windows.
I know. I was like, they're doing this. I'm like, what the f does that mean?
It's old school.
Yeah.
You know, the old time.
Oh no, I know this, but people were doing this.
Oh.
And I'm like, what does that mean? I'm like, well, I don't know what that means. And then finally one of the dudes was like that. And I'm like, oh, okay. So, anyways, thank you. All right, so we're at Atlanta Motorsports Park, and we went out with our windows kind of half up, and there's a policy here, either windows up, windows down. I don't know why they didn't catch it on the way out, but I had the windows rolled up because it looked like it was going to rain. But anyways, thank you for joining me today. We're in the 997.1 GT3, and we got a 3.6 Mezger, and obviously, like, if you've seen my build video, you know this thing is very set up for the track. We're pulling out onto the Atlanta Motorsports Park track in Dawsonville, Georgia, which is about 45 minutes north of Atlanta. And this is kind of the last session of the day because I spent all morning doing some autocross, setting that track up for the Ladies' Day with J-Zilla Track Days out here. It is a Sunday, and there are a bunch of young ladies out here learning to drive track, and some experienced ones sliding around in their Corvettes in our little kind of autocross drift track. But anyways, we are now out on track in the 997 GT3, and all morning I spent playing, having fun, sliding the car around, trying not to melt the tires completely. And then we went for lunch and actually went to a buddy of mine, Rick Stengard's house, and drove some of his $1,000 beaters around on his off-road kind of circuit, which is ridiculous. It's basically like rallycross. So we got to do that all morning. And now I'm back, and I decided to make a video, and the day has gotten away from me. So we're out here just doing a little bit of a warm-up-ish lap, honestly, just cruising, trying not to get caught in traffic. And it looks like it might rain any minute, but we only have about 10 minutes left before the track goes cold. So let's talk about the 997 GT3 handling characteristics as I walk you around Atlanta Motorsports Park. So we're getting onto the back carousel now into fourth gear. I'm not really pushing again right now, but we're just kind of nursing through this back carousel. It's really hard on the front right tire of most cars, obviously, because you're doing a big, long left-hand sweeper. Topping into fifth, just so we don't have as much torque, so we're not worried about it stepping out when we start picking up speed. And again, this is kind of a casual pace. We're gonna pick the pace up as we go around, and I'll talk you through exactly how this thing handles, because it does rotate ever so slightly in a perfect way. So I'm going to touch the left foot with the brake just to make sure I still got brake coming into turn one, because it is a hairpin off the brake rather, and then onto the power. And this car, I did set up the suspension a little softer in the front and a little stiffer in the rear for the autocross, because it was very tight earlier and I needed the car to rotate a little more without so much as I didn't have as much momentum as I normally do on track. So here on the upper carousel, it's like an off camber thing. I can lift off the gas, get the nose to rotate, and just squeeze on that power, exiting the corner, coming down into sixth. Hard brakes, downshift into third, downshift into second, lift off the brakes slowly on the power, trying not to slide too much, but getting a little bit of rotation coming out of that corner. Into third, staying close to the left side of the track. Into fourth, making sure the corner workers aren't mad with me, a little bit of brakes. Down into third at the turn, and low, slowly off the brakes, onto the gas. Nice and gripped up out of that corner. Hard brakes down the hill. Temperatures are still good. A little bit of rotation there, but nothing crazy. Tiny bit of brakes coming up this hill. We got a blind right-hander followed by a blind left-hander off camber downhill. So I can lift off the gas, get the car to rotate nicely down the hill, and then squeeze back on the power. Again, I'm in third. Don't want to stay in third because we're getting a little bit of understeer, so I'm managing that understeer with the throttle. I'm going to go ahead and upshift into fifth, just so that I can squeeze on the power a little more and not have to worry about that torque pulling me out sideways coming around the carousel. We're coming up on a Miata here through 16, so I'm going to have to slow down quite a good bit. Don't know if they're going to give me a point by, probably not. Tap the left foot on the brakes just to make sure that I'm not going to completely overshoot into turn one. That is a huge issue I've seen here at Atlanta Motorsports Park. People just bombing off into turn one because they don't know if they have any brakes. Pass our little Miata friend there, give them a wave. And third gear coming into the carousel, a little bit of brakes, get the weight under control, lift off the brakes, tap the brakes again, back on the throttle, understeer a little bit, and as we get midway through, lift off, get the car to rotate a little, squeezing power, just managing that oversteer. A little too much oversteer for my liking, but again, I'm not claiming to be a professional driver here. I just like playing with the car, and feeling where that slip angle is, and just having fun and honestly just melting tires, because that is ultimately where you have the most fun. When your consumables are basically tires. Off the brakes, nice and smooth. Hit the rumbles a little harder than I normally do, checking oil temps. We're at 220, squeezing on the power as we come out of the corner. Coming up on another Miata. This one's an NB. I think the other was an NA. Lifting off the gas, brake rather, and getting that rotation. And then the off-camber downhill, this car just is rotating like perfectly. We got someone going in the pits here, so we're gonna have to pass them on the inside. It's gonna be an interesting pass as we're cutting that corner a little tighter than normal. We're in 4th, up into 5th, and just kind of managing through this corner nice and smooth. There was a corner worker ready with the Miata flag as we come out of the 16 corner. Not really full trot, checking the brakes with the left foot. Tiny bit of brakes. Down into 4th, down into 3rd, down into 2nd. Lift off the brakes, back on the gas, squeezing as we come out, getting a tiny bit of rotation. Tires are getting pretty hot now. Cameras are falling over into 4th. Didn't necessarily need it, but why not? It's fun shifting the car. By the way, the gearbox, once it gets hot, it is super pleasant. So I can lift off the gas here, get the car to rotate just a little, mat the power, and it's got enough power to kind of help me manage through that corner down into 4th. Like I said in the previous build video, the gearbox is super notchy until it gets up to temperature. And once it gets up to temperature, it really shifts nicely. Other than that, we got a lightweight flywheel and clutch set up in here, and the rev matches are just perfect. Obviously, I'm a little comfortable with the car. It is my car, so we got a heavy clutch, heavy brake pedal. The brake feel in this car is phenomenal. And yeah, other than that, you can check out the build video if you want to know more about this car. But this is kind of one of those like fun dual purpose cars that you can have fun with on the track. I drove it up here this morning. Kelsey came up, brought me some lunch, and now we're just having fun on track, trying to make sure cameras aren't falling completely over as we go around at a decent pace. So we'll do a cool down lap now, and I'll thank you guys so much for showing up and watching this video. I know track stuff is not the most entertaining stuff to watch because I guess it's not illegal, and I think the internet has a aptitude for illegal activities. And I don't know, for whatever reason, every other creator I've ever seen make videos on track, nobody watches them. They want to see them on the back roads, slipping and sliding around, doing illegal things, or even just driving terribly on back roads, which I see a lot of creators doing, and just, you know, going ridiculously fast in places they probably shouldn't be going ridiculously fast. But that is why I'm a huge advocate for learning on track and then taking it to the street, so that at least you know where the limit of grip is. Because if you don't know where the limit of grip is, or you don't know how your car is going to rotate, or you don't know anything about suspension setup, which you don't have to know, but you at least need to know a tiny bit about where the tires are going to let go and which axle is going to let go, front or rear. And if you know a little bit about that, which is honestly super easy to play with on track and not have much risk. Yes, there are walls around here, but for the most part, we can haul booty crack. And even if you come in a little hot and get in the power and huck the car into a corner, you're not really worried about going off too much. And if you are, I mean, yes, it could be bad, but you know, it's all about in the process of learning and enjoying the vehicles for what they're meant to be doing, which is driving on track. I know a GT3 is kind of a street track car, but ultimately it was designed to be a road going track car. So thank you guys for watching. That was a long-winded couple laps there. I will see you in the next one. And I know Kelsey's like, what the hell, how did you just talk for the last 10 minutes? So thank you guys. Bye. You ready?
Ready.
Come on, lift. Yeehaw! It didn't want to rotate fully on that first sweeper, so I had to clutch kick it a little bit, but we made it work. Should we do another?
Yes.
All right, I don't know if I'll be able to get it clean, but these tires are very unhappy.